as a notorious Guardian lover, does it feel extra special to be part of the reason, perhaps, with all of the Living Legend points you just gifted to Enigma, that perhaps getting this Illusionist out of the way might help Guardian come back into the meta?
I needed to take the matter into my hands. He was not leaving this metagame. I could not play Guardian. We had to do it.
And Pablo Pintor is your champion, the first one ever in Flesh and Blood.
And Pablo Pintor is a two-time Pro Tour champion. It's Pintor's world, and we're just living in it.
Congratulations on winning the Spanish National Championship, going 10-0 undefeated on Jarl. I know this is a hero you and I both have a lot of history with. Can you talk to me a little bit about kind of your relationship with Guardian and kind of how it brought you into Fab?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here with you discussing our favorite class, right? At least I believe it is mine. Not the one that has brought me more success, which sadly is Illusionist. But, but yeah, I do think Jarl is a very fun deck that fills the void left by Oldhim. You know, I got introduced to Flesh and Blood when there weren't a lot of heroes. And it was pretty hard finding a hero that did resonate with me, both from a mechanical standpoint and the gameplay experience and the art direction. There was one that did a much better job than the others, right? Which was Guardian, was Bravo, right? Back in the day, Bravo was pretty good. Dominating attacks was extremely powerful, and there weren't as many D-reacts running around, and we did not have that much armor block, so the crash effects were actually very powerful. So I think that it was very interesting seeing the evolution of the game, how there were some heroes introduction that were introduced in the game that essentially made a lot of the early stage heroes of the game, some of the Welcome to Raid especially, which I believe we can still see that today, right, as they don't have any of them has reached Living Legend, right? And there are some hovering around the 900 points, but I don't think that they are not receiving any points as of now.
I think Katsu's like kind of okay. Yeah, I think Dory or Katsu are I think Dory with like the MPW will get something, but it's crazy that Bravo's been at 700 for 3 years.
It is not that crazy when you see the record. It is sad. It is sad. I agree with you. So yeah, I did get started in Flesh and Blood playing Guardian. I did enjoy that a lot. The ability of pitch stacking your attacks, waiting for the second cycle, and then snatching the tempo of your opponent with these enormous dominated attacks that they could not react to, like crippling and things like that. So I did like the hero a lot. Sadly, we did get both Prism and Chain on Monarch, which made a lot of the old classes essentially much worse than them, and especially Guardians. They could not play against the Spectra game plan of Prism. We also got Starbo, which we can technically count as a Guardian. It is a very powerful elemental hero that happens to play a few Guardian cards, right? The thing is that he was playing the broken ones. So he had Winter's Wail, he had Crown of Seeds, and
Awakening.
Old, right?
Yeah, some good ones.
Awakening. I forgot about Awakening. I always forgot about that card. Very, very fun, very balanced one.
Yeah, we should bring it back. I think that solves some of your problems, right? Just a few.
But it was a fun time, but I was forced out of the class, right? I did play Chain, a hero that I did enjoy a lot, and brought me quite success, which was fun.
Pablo Pintor is your first Flesh and Blood Pro Tour champion.
But we had to wait till Tales of Aria and Oldhim till we saw another Guardian coming into the game. This one was extremely powerful as well, right? Oldhim has both access to a lot of cards, which is extremely good, and access to some very powerful broken equipment, and a very powerful ability all in one hero, which was very fun. It was like, I believe that would be if we do not count the Starbow as a Guardian, that would be like the highest ceiling point of power any Guardian will ever get.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun in a broken way. He did come on as we say in Tales of Aria, which was a set full of broken cards and broken heroes. He was sadly in a metagame that was not kind to him, so he had to wait a little bit till he did start dominating the metagame later on. But he was very good. Once he started rolling, Oldhim was very good. He could adapt to different metagames extremely well. He did fight toe-to-toe with Lexi, which is regarded as one of the most broken decks we have ever had in Flesh and Blood. So he was essentially a very fun, but very powerful hero, and I did enjoy a lot playing him. I believe a lot of players hold this hero pretty close to their hearts, as he did have a lot of tools, a lot of interactions and powerful things, and doing powerful things is something fun in itself. And it was strange to see a hero doing powerful things on the defensive side of the pitch. I did especially enjoy the mirrors. The mirrors were amazing with Crown of Seeds and the turbo pitch stacking and trying to reach your stack and start doing like crazy things like whack an old fuse with a Pamel, and your opponent is like, okay, I will answer with this card, activating Crown of Seeds to draw the Pamel or to draw the defense reaction that I need. There were a lot of very, very fun things on the format.
So at what point, like in his lifetime, was the mirror your favorite? Because I know it kind of evolved, especially like post Outsiders when you got Bracers.
It was exciting and fun most of the time, but especially when we were playing Anothos and
Bracers of Determination, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I believe that was a very, very fun metagame because you had to play around activations of the arms, the +2 and the Anothos. There was a lot of guessing and gambling on that matchup, and it was very fun. And it did make Crown of Seeds not as broken in the mirror, which was also good because it meant we were taking more damage and it was not as easy getting to the second cycle. Very fun. So when he left the game, when he did achieve Living Legend status, which was by the hand of a very handsome player, I believe Oldhim did leave a hole in this game. And it was not an easy one to fill, right? So when we did receive Jarl, which was 2 years ago now.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
So when we did receive Jarl, it did not feel the same. Jarl is not the same beast as Oldhim was. Most of Oldhim power cards have since been banned, right? We're talking about Winter's Wail, Crown of Seeds. So Jarl is not doing the same. His ability is also much worse. But he did bring a lot of new things into the class, and he still had the essence of Ice and Earth, which offers a huge array of possibilities while building your deck to fight whatever threat you want to fight against. And he was very interesting. I believe he was also a very interesting hero, and a lot of people wanted him to be good. And from a design standpoint, artistically, I believe this hero is amazing. We know him from the manga art, which I believe is one of the best arts in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
He was a very interesting hero, and we were a little bit sad, right? Because when he was released, he did not have enough tools to fight against the other heroes that were in the metagame. And once he did find footing, he had the problem where the other Earth heroes were just better versions of him, right? Both Florian was doing the Guardian bit much better than poor old Jarl, and Verdance was a direct counter, which was an impossible matchup to win practically.
Yeah.
So we did have to wait a lot till Jarl started doing better in the metagame. As you said, back at the start of 2025, we did find this ultra fatigue list, playing Everbloom Live, abusing Everbloom Live.
Yep.
and I believe that deck was pretty good. Not a thing I would like to see in the game that often, even if I did play it in some tournaments, because essentially it does not play with your opponent at all, and just relies on getting you out and surviving everything that you can do and leaving you with no cards and no way to react to an endless number of Titan's Fist being thrown at your face. Very boring. Not what I would like to see this hero evolve towards to, but it was the first time we could play Jarl in a competitive setting, and that made me a little bit happy. And you as well, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. So I'm very happy to see that the evolution has come to the game to a point where we have seen aggro decks evolve towards becoming incredible machines of efficiency that do not pitch. That means that the ice heroes are much better than ever, and there's only one ice hero left in the game. I always joke with this one that the real hero is a stalagmite, and Jarl is just carrying it around. This card that you have on the screen right now is worth, I don't know, between 8 and 10 points of value across the single game. Probably more because your opponent is playing around it some turns. Insane card. We also got access to incredibly powerful cards like Oakenhold, which is one of my favorite cards in the whole game. And we are the only hero left in the game that can play the all-powerful Felling of the Ground, which I believe is in contention for the best card in the game. Probably with Codex of Frailty, Tarantula Toxin, a couple more, but 2 cards 8 that also take away a card from your opponent's hand. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds like Codex.
So, yes, just by the virtue of being able to play extremely powerful cards, even if his text box is blank most of the game, I do think Jarl is in a very good position. I believe the Remembrance ban has only made him better, as there are a lot of matchups that essentially cannot fight back against him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We are good at blocking, we can heal ourselves, we have an incredible amount of disruption, and we are actually pretty good at dealing damage, which is another thing that I'm also pretty surprised with. And more importantly, on this metagame, we have access to unconditional equipment destruction, which is kind of part of Jarl's identity. It seems like Jarl's identity is split in 2. First, you have to break their equipment with either frozen to death or mangle, and then you have to play ice cards to put frostbites to your opponent. In reality, it means that you are not fast enough to do both things without dying or losing a lot of value. And so we only do that on very specific matchups where it might very well win us the game, though. So it is pretty powerful. I'm extremely impressed with Mangle and Gauntlets of Boreal Domain.
Yes,
I do find these
cards are so cool.
Very, very good. It is such a sad thing that we cannot play the Unforgetting Unforgiven, the block card, because it does require extremely specific scenarios to work out, and I believe it is just better to run Fiddler's Green instead.
Yeah.
But Unforgetting Unforgiven is a wonderful card that I would like to see in more builds. If we got more tools to put -1 counters on our opponent's equipment. But all in all, it is a very fun deck that greatly resembles what we were trying to do with Oldhim, and I believe every player that did have fun playing Oldhim should check this one out.
100%. I know he was kind of, when I started around Dynasty, in that area where Oldhim really was kind of rising to power. Prism had just left. And I was seeing all of the top players were playing Oldhim. Oldhim was the deck. I wanted to play Bravo, because Bravo was a little cheaper at the time. But I was just I don't really see the difference in after kind of playing for years and years, understanding oh wow, Crown of Seeds is illegal. Wind of Whale is disgusting. It was just so. I was Crippling Crush seems good. But it's no. It's Frosty 4 every turn is insane. And just being able to play a constant 5-card hands is just so valuable. So it's really cool to kind of see this is a kind of more fixed and balanced version of Oldhim. I'm glad we've gotten away from this really heavy fatigue version, and we can play a bit more proactive, especially with cards that Penn's given us. You're not on this list, but I wouldn't be surprised to see you on in the future. But I think Sprout Strength is a big card that we've seen make it's the closest we'll ever get to a head jab. But being able to go Sprout Strength Boulder Drop, Sprout Strength CNC, Sprout Strength Fellow.
I think Sprout Strength is even better than any given head jab.
Yeah.
It being an earth card that we can play whenever we want because it buffs anything. It is great for decompose purposes. And as you said, we have several long hits in the deck. So giving +3 to that Dominated Mangle or to that CNC is much more worth than a single head jab would ever be. So yeah, I believe it's a pretty real card, and we might see it creep its way into the deck in the future.
Absolutely, I'm excited for that. It's also a fun card you can kind of recur back with, Everbloom Life, because it's a 0. It just really impressed me with the design of that, and getting Crown is such a nice just deck building piece, because it's just it alleviates a bit of the AB slots, lets you kind of be a little bit more flexible. But yeah, I'm really kind of excited for the future of this hero, especially as we see kind of some pretty pushed expansion cards. I know we were talking a little bit about this card as kind of one of the best expansion slot cards we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, so we will just leave in the record that maybe this is not the first time that we're talking about this card, because maybe there was another recording that
Maybe,
did not
just
go that well. But yeah, earlier on another conversation, I did talk about the problem where it is very difficult to balance different decks in an ever-expanding pool of heroes, right? I believe LSS is slowing down a little bit on the release of new heroes right now, but we have a lot of heroes in the game, and all of them being viable or receiving new cards that works toward making them more viable is an almost impossible task. And we have seen LSS decide to use extremely powerful expansion slot cards to try to bring them to speed. That was how we did receive the extremely problematic Visit the Goblin State that made us play into a format full of Victor decks trying to exploit that card, which was by itself one of the most egregiously overpowered piece of cardboard we have ever seen in this game. And we did see a lot of decks trying to abuse that with Remembrance or just by playing normally and trying to go very fast. And it was like a huge game changer for Victor. And I believe we are seeing that same exact thing in Betsy.
Mhm.
Pile Driver fixes every problem Betsy had till this moment. It is essentially the same as a Slash of Armelheim, which is a pretty good card, but it overcreeps him completely, right? So if you have Tunic, if you have a Vigor, it is essentially the same. You can wager gold with your opponent if you want, if you feel that they do not want to block against you, and you will get that gold for free. That is very, very powerful. That already makes it much better than good old Sledge. But it also combos extremely nice with Betsy's hero power and 2 blues, right? You pitch 2 blues, you pay 4 for the Pile Driver, then you wager gold, you pay 2 to give it +1 and overpower. That means that you can convert 2 blues in your hand every single turn to 7 points of damage with evasion and a no-hit. Those are the numbers of a red card. So Pile Driver essentially turns once per turn one of your blue cards from your hand into a 3-cost 7 attack on hit, create a gold overpower, which is insane, right?
It's gross.
It's insane, and you're not even losing cards from your deck. It's even better than that.
Yeah.
So this means that you do not need to play any attacks on your deck anymore, right? If you want, and that is the evolution we have seen in the deck list that have made top 8, both of them on this last Pro Tour. With Betsy, they are playing an incredible amount of defensive tools and blues, and the only attack that they are running is CLC, right? Which is insane. It is not a direction, I believe, the direction where LSS wanted Betsy to evolve, right? She has extremely powerful signature attacks and moves, and it would be very much more thematic to see her playing those and taking risks during the game and trying to actually kill her opponent very fast, instead of just playing extremely valuable 4-card hands where you block with defense reaction and another card and just send your Pile Driver turn after turn after turn, which this is in no way throwing shade at these players that did find this extremely powerful and innovative Betsy build. Great for them, and I'm happy that they got great results with them too. But this feels like a weird way to fix your heroes, right? And I believe it has essentially turned Betsy into a log machine, which is kind of ironic in a way, because we were always hoping for the log. But we will see how it goes in the future. I am not so high in this deck. I believe it has problems with several aggressive decks in the format, and it cannot feel the Arcane Barrier as good as other decks can. And I believe it also has additional problems with especially with Gravy Bones. She has tools, though. She has tools, and we might still see more deck evolution. But she's very good against Jarl. Yes, this is almost an impossible matchup for Jarl. We are throwing 2-card 6. He's throwing 2-card 7s with evasion. and an hit, that sounds bad. That sounds bad because it is bad. And she also has a lot of defensive tools to deal with your dominated attacks and things. So at the end of the day, I do think that it will be a pretty real deck, just not one of the best. We will see. We will see.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Fatigue Pleiades that came out earlier this year, where with the two top pick, the Calling, the deck looked really strong, but it was exploitable. There are ways to beat it, and I think once people kind of adapted to it, it looks much more fair and it looks much more kind of playable. And in a way, like the log kind of reminds me of like the very Fatigue Jarl list we played earlier, where it's like this feels like this isn't how this hero is designed. It doesn't feel like this is what LSS wants us to do, but it wins. So let's play it.
That's it.
It is pretty cool, though, that we did find a use for the Super Slam suspense auras. Like, seeing suspense is killing me, seeing the other blue ones, but like seeing the red ones playable is awesome. Like the tension and the edge of the seats, being able to use it at instant speed, kind of like a pseudo pummel, and then being able to buff up and kind of line up these really powerful like CNC double down turns is cool. So like, it's great we're seeing a lot of these like Majestics and other cards that have gone in the card pool that like we're not really seeing success. Like Double Down, I think at one point hit like a $40 a card, which is ridiculous for like kind of a bulk Majestic. But it's really cool to kind of see some of these Guardian cards that were unplayable be kind of give the time in the sun.
It feels very good to see that with little changes we can still revive completely an old hero. As I said, I would prefer cards that are not as singularly strong as this one, and instead see that power spread out in different cards, but because that makes them less exploitable.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like this is very good, and I am not mad at all seeing Betsy on the high tables of any given tournament.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool to see kind of a hero. Like I remember just joking with people like looking at the PT top 8 being like, imagine seeing this a year ago. You shit, like it's just like it's ridiculous. So we've seen kind of Betsy rise up, but let's talk a little bit about the list you brought here to Spain. This is kind of what we feel like since we got Rootbound Carapace back, where the list should end up. As well, if you're interested in finding more about this deck, please check out Pablo's Metafy. He does a really great job keeping these maintained and keep these kind of up to date. He's done a great job with the Arachne list. He's done a great job with the Flavo list from the start of the year. So I can't recommend strongly enough how good these guys are. Even if you're a new player, this is a great way to kind of get in, learn the fundamentals. But even if you're kind of a very developed player who's winning events, there's always kind of something more you can kind of learn these guides.
Thank you so much. This is a very humbling experience every time someone talks highly of my guides. And I must tell you, I thought these were not this did not need as many work put into them as they actually do in reality. I thought this was an easier way of writing them, but actually doing something like this in your second language, it's quite a lot of work to do. But I do enjoy writing them a lot, and as you said, I will try to keep them updated for as long as I can. We will see if I write more in the future. I'm not writing and reading any of them like any fixed amount of time. If I do well with a new hero and I feel like there is something that I can explain to people, I might write one. But other than that, I would try to keep them updated for as long as possible. I'm still playing all three heroes because, surprisingly, I believe all three are pretty good right now in every single format. But we will see in the future. I'm pretty happy with how the Jarl one turned out, and I believe the hero is very powerful on this metagame. I was very, very surprised to see very well-known players asking me about the list and ideas and things like that. So that is very good. I will see how it evolves in the future. I'm playing Calling Edinburgh this weekend. I'm almost 100% playing Jarl. So I will try to update it again. Let's see if we can adapt a little bit to the latest changes we have seen in the metagame. And if we can do anything for the Betsy matchup, let's hope the Betsy section on this guide is not trying to dodge this hero.
Surely we got some outs. Surely. We need some Sotomaros or some way to recur back our Ogun holds and just kind of chain it for the rest of the game.
Hey, I'm down. If that works, I'm down.
So this is what you ran previously, and since we can't play the Remembrance anymore, Are there any ideas you kind of have coming into this new format where you think you may take Jarl with maybe like a bit more aggressive, or are you trying to like play a bit more like staunch kind of focused gameplay, you think?
I believe it is very fun because we not only do have those slots, we can also move our defensive pieces and our attack actions a little bit, right? I do think that the only mandatory ones are the Earth ones, Mangle and Wagnold. I do like CNC and Boulder Drop as much as any other Guardian player, but I believe we have still a lot of room for exploration and trying to find new powerful combinations. We did see Michael Hamilton playing Scar for Scar on this last Pro Tour. He was also playing Sprout Strength, which I believe is a very good card that I would be very keen to explore. And I believe you can also move around the cards we have in the blue slots. Like I feel like Jarl is a very powerful cell with extremely powerful pieces, and then you can move all the other things around. The only thing that I would not change is any of our specific tech against Gravy, as I believe it is needed. And a lot of people did seem to think that Gravy was dead, but we saw Noah Clark doing very well on this last Pro Tour with him, and I'm pretty sure we will still see Gravies on top tables in every single tournament. And the hero just lives up to its reputation, right? LSS tries to kill him every single ban list iteration, but he's still there commanding his undead forces and being an oppressive force in the metagame.
Yeah, he ran into a lot of Dromai where it like always went through changes, would lose something and just be like, well, I'm still here. You know, it's just like everyone's like, Dromai's dead. It's like, nope, Dromai's top 8 again. How do they do it? But yeah, Rampart has felt like a huge boon in that matchup. Definitely we could consider maybe something like Midas coming back, maybe Pilfer. But yeah, I think also getting cards like Ice Lock and just getting more Ice 3 blocks can make that a bit better, so we can kind of reliably find our frozen to death combo. Do you feel like we still need the big 8s in the blue slot here, like Macho Grande? I know people are kind of split on playing Macho Grande or Glacial Footsteps. Yeah.
So I think that there is some build out there where we play all of the go again attacks, and we feed Rouse the Ancients, we feed more powerful things, but I believe we have to cut down on our elemental cards if we want to do that.
Yeah.
I would be down to cut on our elemental cards if there was no equipment worth killing in a given metagame. We could remove a lot of our ice cards. Because at the end of the day, we're almost always fusing Wagnold with either Pulse of Ice and Loft or Crumble to Eternity, which is one of the biggest advantages of playing Jarl, right? Having access to Crumble to Eternity, which is an extremely powerful card. Yeah, I think the 8 strength attacks belong into that build, at least for now that we don't have any Illusionist, at least any Phantasm Illusionist that is constantly attacking us. We instead have like this cosplay of Enigma that is CG. Pretty good deck in itself.
Yeah, it's very good.
And I quite enjoy playing CG. He does remind me of Enigma, like watered down Enigma, but still feels like Enigma, and I like that quite a lot.
Yeah. But they definitely feel like a more balanced Enigma. Like if there's no mirror guy, like I remember when Jarl came out, this was a matchup that there's no reason to play Jarl because Enigma exists. However, I will say the list that I've been working. Let me find the deck here. I think this is my list for it. This has like when I've played E-Strike, what's it called? Heart of Ice, Sledge, Pummels, and Sprout Strengths. I've beaten them. I've beaten the Ira Ziggy a few times where they just start to run out of block. Like they just eventually get to the pitch stack where it's like those cards don't block anymore. They have the Ward 1 auras, and when you're Heart of Icing them, it's really hard for them to kind of keep up with your pressure.
I actually think that is one of the matchups where Ice of Heart is more powerful.
Yeah.
Which is very fun because it also serves a purpose with AV1. It is like an extremely good piece of equipment in that matchup. But yeah, I do not feel as bad about that matchup as most people do.
Yeah.
I don't think that if we sideboard correctly, it is not as bad. As you said, we have a lot of tools, and they sometimes run into god-awful hands with like, several Wild One things, and then you activate Heart of Ice, and they are like,
They're like, oh. And being a deck that plays a lot of D-Reacts, I remember I had a brutal turn where I was able to set up Sprout Strength into CNC Pummel. And just stripped everything they had. Just like I was behind, like on board, I was behind like 10 life, and I was just able to catch up entirely. And like, all right, we're back on even footing just because of this one big turn. It feels like if you were trying to catch up with Enigma, she could just set up so quickly, and it just didn't matter. Like there was still 2 more meter guys left, and it just like does not feel like they can make what's the cat card? What is that? The yellow.
Spectral Manifestation?
Yeah. Not Spec Mini.
Is the one
Restless.
Restless Coalescence.
Yeah. This card still is illegal. This card is still insane and so powerful for them. Wow. I took a turn to clear off like the silvers, Shimmers of Silvers, and they just go Restless, and they just put every counter from the silver on the Restless, and I was just like, all right, game's over. You got me. That's a tough one, but it does feel like it's much closer to being an Illusionist that doesn't feel like it's like auto win into these slower decks.
It feels at least better, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's doing a better job at being a Guardian. Like, let's not fool ourselves. I did play the hell out of Enigma because she was broken. She had access to some of the more powerful plays, and she was also a hero from part of the Misbuild, where the better cards of your deck were also blues, which meant you had an insane resource curve. You had access to very powerful defensive tools. You had access to Phantasmaclasm. My God, that was a broken deck. And we have seen Ziggy do kind of the same. He can still play some of those extremely powerful, efficient tools to deal with the aggro decks.
Yeah.
And then develop auras. And even with Refractor, you still have a very good matchup into these decks. I believe it is kind of hard to fit both Refractor and Iris into your list because it does require different blues into your deck. Iris is much more resource hungry than it is the Refractor, and you can still go again to Refractor or use it alongside your go again attack actions to still push a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the Refractor build is the best one right now, but we will see.
Yeah, it's also like if you compare the blues that Ziggy is currently what they are currently playing, you still have like Enigma Chimera, Haze Bending, but like these are not the same blues like Rage Spectre. These are not like the chi cards.
Oh.
Like these are nowhere near what we had to play with against before. Like there are still like there's no levels of enlightenments. And like they have to play a real number of red cards, and some of these red cards are easy to play, like E-Strike, Metamorph. But like they can brick, and I felt like playing an Enigma, they never bricked. This was something that
Enigma was also very unfair, right? Because sometimes you will have to take a lot of damage just to present some kind of like threat to their board, and they will go like, okay, no blocks, everything dies. On my turn, I will play this Rage Spectre. I will play, this Transcend card that will give me 1 life. I will create a Spectral Seal, swing with the Spectral Seal, swing with the Rage Spectre, put this D-React in my arsenal, back to you. And you're like, okay, yeah, I want to kill myself right now.
Yeah.
So I believe this deck does not offer you those extremely high value plays.
Yeah.
If you just imagine this deck, this same exact deck in Enigma, it would be so much better, right?
Yeah.
Because we are not actively using Ziggy's ability most of the time. But I still believe this is a pretty good deck. It offers you the option of dealing some amount of arcane damage pings, which is also pretty annoying and pretty good at closing games.
Yep.
And I believe it will be a pretty fun deck in the future. I just hope that we also get an Aphrodisias version that is, good enough. Because it pains me seeing new heroes that do not get played as they seem that you want to play them, right? They do not use their tools, their potential, their lightning flows.
Yeah.
It is almost the same with Aurora as well.
I feel like my barometer for if a hero is successful was, do you play your specs and do you play your signature weapon? Because I still have my gold foil summit here, which I've used a couple times. I won a pro quest with the summit, and I saw Tatsuya, the Florian player from Japan, was on stream at the last Japanese Calling, was 2 weeks ago, was playing Summit. I was like, let's go, we're back. And then he lost Ira on stream, and I'm like, never mind, it's over. But that is a tough matchup. But I think Summit is a good option in that, if we do get this very aggro meta, I remember I really liked playing into Fi, into Azalea, into these aggro decks that don't want to block, and you need kind of disruption every turn. Summit would be great. I would just like some kind of way that we could just reduce Summit's cost. If we just had per Summit costs 1 less for each exposed zone, would be really, really nice. And maybe put it on the level with Log.
I don't think Summit is designed on the same power level as other Guardian weapons.
No.
And that's about it. It has a huge cost on your deck building because you do need two blues in your single hand to be able to swing with it, right?
Yeah.
If it had modalities or something, if you could do 1 card 4, 2 card 6, or I don't know how. But the problem is that it also allows you to bring a Stalagmite with it. I like that design from LSS's point of view because they know Stalagmite is extremely overpowered, and we are always going to try and play Stalagmite whenever we can. So this is a very good way to make his weapon playable alongside Stalagmite and making it feel powerful, but it does not feel powerful. It does feel horrible because you do need 2 blues, and your opponent completely stops it with 2 cards.
Yeah.
If it did put the Frostbite regardless of hitting, we might be talking about a good weapon there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think it's
but
interesting when you look at how Jarl decks are built. We're on half reds, half blues. This is it's just no card costs nearly as much as Summit costs. Our most expensive card is Mangle, which is 4. We can play it off Tunic, or we can play it off 2 blues. But if you just look overall the cost curve, it's very much feels like Summit is a pitch stack weapon where it's you're never supposed to swing Summit until the end of the game. You're supposed to play all your attacks, get every red out of your deck, block with your shield, and then go, all right, we're on halfway through second cycle, maybe entering third cycle. We're really going to start putting the Summit gameplay in now where we're just going play Ice Lock Glaze, play Winter's Bite, play CLF, and then swing Summit and just being they can't block. I think the big card that Summit is supposed to play with is this. Being able to just play Ison out for 0, give them a Frostbite, and swing Summit, and being all right, you're at 2. You die basically if you just threatening kind of these Frostbite instant speed, uninteractive damage is kind of how we're supposed to close the game out rather than trying to focus a dominated end game.
Rob, you're not selling me.
Summit.
If you want me to play Channel Mountain with you, you're not selling this.
I'm saying this is how it was designed. I'm not saying that this is how this is what you should be playing and calling as you're calling this weekend. I just think this is when they sat down and they said, this is how we're going to build this deck, this is how we're going to sell you the Armory deck here, because this Armory deck is okay. I think it's the game plan, if you compare Hollow's game plan to the Armory deck Jarl got, they've done a great job of kind of designing these decks to be much more tight, much more interesting, because a lot of those Jarl cards were unfortunately just felt like Rosetta bulk, whereas a lot the Hollow card is 60 brand new cards, and that was an amazing Armory deck Origins. Really happy with what they've done with her. And I kind of wish we got a little bit more of that. But I'm hoping that Jarl will get some kind of dedicated expansion slot. I think a lot of heroes have in these last 2 years, and Jarl still hasn't. Everbloom Life was nice,
but
it's
pretty bad because we did see some very powerful Earth cards enter into the game. You did mention one of them. But the Ice cards have felt horrible. Horrible, or at best minor side grades to cards like Channel Mountain, which you were not playing anyways. So it feels like he has kind of been abandoned, but at the same time he's very good. So in this metagame, so I have no complaints. Right now I have no complaints.
Yeah. I think my only gripe is that Verdant's at her peak got light up the leaves. Kasai is getting a great spec every single pack, and I'm just can I get a crumb? Because Pen was nice, and the problem though is this is our best ice attack, and that kind of sucks. I would just love an ice card I can play proactively to attack somebody with. I like colors, and it's felt good when I played it, but give me I don't know, I want Endless Winter. Like, just give me something that like really feels like it fits the Jarl theme of ice and is just like something proactive I can attack with.
Yeah, Colors of Aria would be an extremely good card on other of the games, but I feel like most decks do not want to block with your equipment. They are already not incentivized to block you with their equipment, and they already know that you have an ability that gets better if they don't have any equipment. So this is most of the time a vanilla 2-card 7, which is worse than luck, you know?
That's fair. That's fair. But it does feel decompose, which is nice, and it can keep your sea elf around.
It is a good card.
Yeah.
It is a good card, don't get me wrong. The problem is that it does fight for this lot of CNC or Boulder Drop, and I really cannot see myself taking those out.
At least not right now. Yeah, if you get like more elemental support, maybe, but I think as of right now. But I don't know if you saw the interview with James White did this past week with, is it TCG Ted? Was the guy's? He was talking about how it's been too long since the heroes have come back. He mentioned a couple by name. He's talking about how Aurora and Viserai have come back very recently, and that there are 2 heroes that we haven't seen for about 3 years. We haven't seen Alexi, we haven't seen an Icelander. And he says, well, we're kind of on the swing back of getting heroes coming back. I know we have Dromai coming back sometime next year, but it seems like we should be expecting an Ice Ranger and an Ice Wizard sooner rather than later. Hopefully in 2027 we'll see them. I'm praying not to wait till like 2029 for something, but like he did mention by name that these heroes are coming, or like something like that is coming, and it's something in the pipeline that like we will see Ice back. So I am optimistic. I'm hoping Jarl isn't like gone by then, and we like get to like we'll see. Well, all right. I think I'm going to wrap things up real quick here. I know you've had a lot of success with Shadow Runeblade. I know you probably saw the keynote, but I want to get your thoughts here on a couple things. We saw Viserai kind of coming back with a somewhat similar hero power to Chain. I think we've been playing with him a little bit. He seems very strong. I know Chain is a hero that you've been attached to. You won the first Pro Tour with Chain. Had a lot of success with him. How do you feel about this new Viserai coming back?
I feel like he will be extremely powerful. Like, this is one of those heroes where if they do not get like very bad support within the set, and I'm pretty sure we have already seen some very powerful cards, it just feels like, yes, you do have to work a little bit more than Chain did, because Chain did not have to do anything to get stronger as the game did progress. Viserai at least has a deck building cost, right? You need to play cards that will generate rune chants, and you need to banish those cards to then flip and be able to like do your powerful bit. But I feel like he will be an extremely powerful hero. It kind of seems like this new set is focused on bringing heroes that are powerful straight out of the gate. That is one of the problems we have seen in recent times with Flesh and Blood, at least for me, for the last year. It has felt like the meta was very stagnant. We have been playing against the same heroes for over a year now. Gravy Bones, Marionette, Kasai, right? They have been slightly better, slightly worse, but we have been playing against the same heroes, and it has felt very repetitive. I know that LSS embodies this idea of releasing heroes in a way that they are not entirely complete, and they finish those heroes with expansion slots and additional cards in the next sets, and that allows them to release heroes even when there's the current iteration of the same hero is already in the game. So when that hero reaches Living Legend, the time that it takes for the new hero to get to a powerful point, it's not as long as if they have to release a new hero and wait till it gets powerful, right? And this is also a way to fight against power creep. And I do like those ideas, but I feel like they have maybe slowed down a little bit too much on the power of the game. It has felt like none of the new heroes have been good straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
And I believe they are changing that back with this new set, because Slevaya is not a new hero. I think she's getting a lot of support, and she desperately needs it. The ban of Claws was very bad for her. Mm-hmm. The ban of Art of War was very bad for her, right? So I'm pretty sure this will be a pretty powerful set. And I have been saying this for 2 sets in a row, and I have been mistaken in every single one of them. But we will see. I'm pretty confident they know they need to make a change, and this set also makes a lot of sense thematically to make a powerful one, because this also represents the change of regime in the lore of the game, and I do think that would also be pretty cool to introduce this Viserai as sort of the new boss, the new threat to the metagame, and that would fit the narrative very well. So
yeah. Also, when they like broke glass in case of emergency for the Dead Threads hero, I was like, all right, this is going to be the set. Like, this is MST2, maybe. Don't think, no promises, but like, we're seeing Shadow Runeblade come back, and it's like a solid hero power. We have Malice and Leviah. We'll see about Leviah, but like, also, this card is nuts. The Circlet of Eternal End. This is like a stalagmite tier of kind of like block, just like shut you down. Not only for Shadow, but like for heroes like Katsu. This is pretty powerful.
Extremely powerful card for a generic. I agree. I'm also kind of, I will not say mad, I will say surprised with the design of another hero based on allies that have Goigen by themselves.
Yes.
I do think that is risky. I will say risky. But that tends to be broken on this game. We have seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
My God, we have Gravy right now. His allies do not have Goigen, and he is extremely powerful. And he has been extremely powerful for over a year, and he has eaten, like, I don't know, 6 bans in a row. He's still one of the driving forces of the metagame. So I'm slightly scared, because both the Shadow Pool is pretty good, and I believe Malice can be a great hero, and I do hope that she does not destroy slower decks as other ally-based decks have done in the past with, going attacks.
I hope so as well, and I know they like to kind of print hate in the set. I really hope that like our Guardian card for this set isn't just like ally hate. Like, we've just gotten a lot of ally hate recently, and I'm curious to see how much sense weakness will matter into like a matchup like this. Like, I know our allies are relatively low in life, and they slowly lose life. So like, being able, basically just like removing turns off of the allies with that effect, I'm curious. Yeah, especially if she has like access to things like Husk, where she can just kind of shut down like us trying to like turn the corner and kill the allies with like a sense weakness effect, is a little scary to me, but we will see. One thing I did want to, because you brought this up, and I did notice it, but like, I think we're getting less heroes this year than are leaving the game. Like, we're getting 5 heroes total. So like, so we call it 4 if you don't want to count New Aselio, because it's not really a hero as of this time. But like, we 4.5. We're getting. But like, I think over this year we've already. I mean, how many heroes have we lost? We've lost Florian already. We've lost Victor. We've lost Prism. We're going to lose Kasai. We're going to lose Marionette, I think, easily before the year's over. So that's 5 heroes pretty much already gone.
I think that it is very clear that we have been saturated with not so powerful heroes on these last 2 years, right? We have seen several heroes in each set that sadly are not even in the conversation for being like real decks, right? They are like bottom tier decks, and they have a lot of problems, and they are not going to be solved in the near future. So, and they also seem to be taking a lot of heat from bans directed at like powerful decks that also hit those decks that are already struggling, because they share classes with the decks that are already good. So I guess LSS wants to cut down on the number of heroes that they are releasing. They want to make sure that all of them are properly, developed, and they can have, like, we do not have to. It is impossible, and I don't think it's also good for the game to represent every single class on a given metagame, and they all don't need to be good at the same time. And we can have counters, and we can have seasons where, I don't know, Illusionist is bad, or Guardian is bad, or Runeblade is unplayable, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that is fine, but we have seen time and time again that some heroes do not get out of those bottom tiers. And I'm not only talking about old designs like don't know, Bravo or Katsu, as we were talking earlier, which are struggling to like get across the line of Living Legend since the start of the game. But we are also seeing new decks struggling a lot. We talked about Siggy. Siggy's not playing at all like he was intended, I guess. You mentioned Neo Silio. I love that hero. I actually want to build a deck with Silio. They were calling him. But I think that they are still missing a lot of cards, and it is better to release fewer heroes per year and just make sure they got proper support. They don't need to be good right off the gate, but at some point they would need to be good, right? It is like sometimes I look at I'm creating a deck on Fabry or whatever, and I see a hero and I'm like, hey, I did not remember Max existing in the game. Like I have not played a single game against Max in the last year, probably, things like that. I believe it is better to avoid those situations.
Yeah.
Because that is also hard for a class that is struggling, and you see your expansion slot cards being taken by, I don't know, Olympia, and you're like, yeah, I would like some support from my good decks, Of course, on the long run, it makes a lot of sense to give that support to Olympia, but on the short term, it feels pretty bad. So
yeah, 100%, I'm with you. Because I don't know how many times you've seen like good decks, like Verdant's getting Light Up the Leaves, and you're just like, I got garbage. I got like cut off this. What was the Guardian Axe card we got? I was just like, oh, cool. Yeah, I was like, we'll never use that. I'm sure Lyeth maybe plays that at some point, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he does not. I don't know. They wanted to print a dual class card because Axes do also fit the fantasy of the Guardian class, I guess, and at some point in the future we might see a Guardian playing an Axe. But
we do have two Axes.
Right now, which one is the second one?
The Lion Claw Hammer and then the Moment Maker. Yeah, and she's definitely not playing that card. That card is. That card is. But seeing how like the Warrior Guardian cards makes me feel like we're getting some kind of Warrior Guardian set in the future. Because like we have the Shield as a Warrior Guardian Shield. That card, I was shocked to see it. I was like, oh cool, we got a Legendary. All right, I'll mark that down and we'll play that sometime, I guess. But like that's comparing that to like Stalagmite, I don't know. Comparing it to Stalagmite or like Testament, I'm just like, I'm not sure when we play this, but we'll see where it goes. Well, thank you for the time, Pablo. Thank you for the time on our first recording. Really appreciate it.
It has been fun. I'm dying from heat here in Spain. It is one of the worst weeks of the year, and yesterday and today are like extremely difficult to stay with. But I'm doing this with my AC on, and it's manageable. So I did have a fun time. It has been a pleasure being here with you, Rob, and discussing the things that we love. Guardian class, the evolution of this magnificent game, and we will see what the future holds for Flesh and Blood. But I'm pretty excited about Usurp the South Throne.
Absolutely. Well, stay cool and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Take care.